Prova, 1, 2, 3, prova, prova, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, prova, prova, prova.
Yes. 1 minute of attention. I have one logistic information for the people that are going away. This evening we will have a dinner in the city center. It's called Trattoria Zazà. The address is Piazza del Mercato Centrale 26. It's attached to the central market, okay? So if you want to, it's, okay? Eight o'clock.
Okay, we have solved our issues and we can start the second session of the morning. The first speaker waiting for us, I don't know if he can hear me or not, is Jonathan Stuyven from Antwerp, I believe. Okay, now I see you. I see you are not alone, so when I give you a word, you will introduce your colleague. We are very happy that you can talk to us this morning. We are at the beginning of the second session, and for your information, what I remember from one of the presentations of the first part of the day, there was a concept presented by this speaker which may sound familiar to you. When you are doing consultancy or simply coaching and mentoring to young entrepreneurs, what is really important is to tailor the consultancy on the real needs of the person that is asking for your advice. I think this concept will also be part of your good practice presentation. So now, time-wise, I would like to give you 7 minutes for your speech, and then see whether we can have questions from the audience that you can answer to. So from now on, I'm now giving the word to you, and I think if you try to speak, say something so that we can test the audio. It's okay? Okay, so floor is yours.
So can you hear us? Yeah. All right. So hi guys. This is Joris. This is Jonathan. Hi. From our local stakeholder, Bas. I'm gonna just let him do the talking. Okay. That's what I expect as that. Yeah.
Hi, I'm gonna switch over to my presentation so you can follow the presentation.
Die video even nog nemen. Even fullscreen.
Okay. So I'm Jonathan from Bas in Antwerp. It's Bas in Dutch, and it's about being your own boss and giving young entrepreneurs or youngsters who want to be an entrepreneur their own tools and own guidance to make their dreams come true. That's the baseline, your dream, your business, actually. I'm going to talk about how Bas was founded. I'm going to talk about how we got where we are now and what we do, how we do it. So, what I already told, it's about boss, being your own boss, but also being a boss. We work in the field of youth, so youth work, business, local economy, and just the economy in general, and employment. More than 3 years ago, we started. I'm going to turn off my sound because I'm hearing myself all the time. So, je laat afzetten. Of here. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's better. So 3 years ago, asked some stakeholders who were working in the field of youth work and in the field of entrepreneurship that they wanted to reach out to all youngsters of the city of Antwerp. You need to know that 40% of our citizens are under the age of 30. We're a city of 500,000 of people, so that are a lot of youngsters, something that actually was quite impossible. But we, as a youth center, so not an organization that's involved with entrepreneurship, but at the youth center, we're already experimenting about entrepreneurship. And we said we can do that. We can build durable relationships with youngsters. That's what we do best. So that's what we are willing to do around the subject of entrepreneurship. And then I founded BAS. What do we do right now? So now I'm gonna jump on to core business and the four major activities that we do right now. It's training sessions, coachings with youngsters. We have a co-working space. We organize events, and we have like the training and the academy. The training and the academy was the first thing that we started doing 3 years ago because we had Antwerp, and I think it's all over Europe the same challenge. We do have a lot of youngsters that want to start their business, that would like to start exploring and experimenting with business activities, and they do have dreams on the one hand, and on the other side, we do have big challenges of high unemployment rates in the city of Antwerp among youngsters. So that's the other challenge we need to tackle. So self-employment, entrepreneurship, starting your own business was one of the answers. And there were already lots of organizations with high quality training, high quality expertise and experts that were willing to give all those training and all those expertise to the youngsters. But they had one big challenge. They had one big problem. I can call it a problem. They weren't able to reach out to the youngsters. Their communication was ugly. It wasn't up to date. It wasn't to the point, and it didn't started from the needs from the youngsters. I could hear a few minutes before I started talking. It was also about the tailor-it on the sides of young entrepreneurs. So that's what we did. We built the bridge between those youngsters with large communication campaigns and a tailored program training, call it an academy for those youngsters in cooperation with our partners. So with the major chambers of commerce, with the other actors, we're already dealing with entrepreneurship for tens of years. So we work together and tailored, on the one hand, a communication campaign, a brand that involves the entrepreneurship, and on the other hand, we tailored all the things that partner organizations had to offer. It results in 2 months of training. So 4 groups. Here you see a picture of one of the sessions. So 4 groups get training every week. Every night, it's always in the evening. So every night they come back Monday or Tuesday. They follow it for 2 months. So we have 4 groups. And we start with the group No ID. So even youngsters who have no ID and want to start up their business or want to see what all the entrepreneurship is about can come and join and follow the academy for 2 months. Then early ID, pre-startup, and startup. So these 4 groups have the sessions together, and the sessions are introduced and mended by us, youth workers, and the expertise comes from the partners we have. I hope the slide will work again. Computer is working. Okay. Do you also see the blank page? Okay. Trying to fix it right now. Okay.
Hey guys, you didn't video.
Kan ik die even sluiten en... Ja. Okay. Everything working again with you guys? Okay, perfect. Then I'll go on. So I was talking about the partners. The partners are really important for us. This is an overview of our partners who work with us. We are not the experts. We are the ones that youngsters talk to. Okay. After 2 months of getting sessions, being in the academy, we let the youngsters who want to pitch for us, it's jury, or also the partners are in the jury. We let them talk about their business or their business idea, but we also talk about their motivations and their goals in their life and where they want to go, where they want to start and stand. Because that's really important for us, because we're going to guide the process next to the guidance we give in the business coaching and the development of their business. So that's where we select 20 projects will follow another 10 months of individual coaching. The training and selection, here you can see, we announce them on a big event we organized, and then after that they get the individual coaching of us. Again, there we combine our critical questions with the critical friend who asks them questions and then return some feedback, and also try to connect them with the partners who already have their known and existing methodologies and business that we can refer to. Then something that we noticed and that are really results for us, we get 70% of our participants every year. We get over plus 100 participants who will start the 2 months of the academy. 70% of them are female, 30% are male. Normally, it's the other way around. For 75% of them, it's the first time that they ever come and follow any exercise or training or coaching or workshop around entrepreneurship. So before they hadn't had any contact with us or with the partners. So that's where we see that we can bridge the gap between youngsters who want to do something and the partners who can help them creating and building their business. And we're already doing this for 3 years here in Antwerp right now, and there's more than 50 youngsters that really started up their business. So that's a cool result to see. So next to that, we have a co-working space in our youth center at top floor, where we also do everything we said above. So we guide them, we give them personal training, we connect them with our partners, and we give them next to the mental space to work on their business. we also give them a physical working space. They can rent. We do charge a little fee, but that's again just to keep them motivated and not just give away free space. We do organize events. That's still a slide in Spanish. So if there are any Spanish speaking persons in the audience, that's especially for you. And then we also organize BAS bubbles, as you can read, translated BAS chats. We do invite the experts on our co-working space, and people can just come in and talk to them. So you can talk to an accountant, you can talk to a lawyer, you can talk to a financial expert. They just can come in and talk to those people who they normally would need to make an appointment to and to their office. Now they can just do it in the center. So that are more pictures of the co-working. Then we do have the events. We have one big event, superlative event, Baas Boven Baas, each year. At the end of the 2 months in the city where we organize it, we have a big event, more than 40 speakers, little sessions, breakout sessions, big talks, and networking and matchup, speed dating, everything you can find on a big. We organize it. There we also see that we can reach out and have participants that normally wouldn't come to those more classic, typical business events or entrepreneurial events. Some pictures of the events. Also important to say there is that we try to bring other stories that normally you wouldn't see on the stage of those typical or classic entrepreneurial events or with the partner organizations. We try to bring stories that live in our city that are more diverse than only the typical white collar icon or blue collar entrepreneurial vibe and speakers and cases that are showcased normally at those events. So more pictures. Okay. Then we also have Bas Praat, like the boss talks, little events we organize, mostly at our location at the co-work space for groups of 40, 50 attendees, where we try to tackle subjects where the youngsters are having questions about. So we invite some speakers, we invite some other organizations who are working in that field, and we let them talk and give an answer to the questions that the youngsters have. There's a picture of those smaller events. Maybe some information about who we are and how we do it. We're with two, me, myself, and then another colleague of me who runs the co-work space more practically and is in charge of the communications. And we have a total budget of 120,000 euros each year. So that we, the two full-time employees, are inside that budget, and also all our working budget is in there. So that's what we do. The cool thing last year, and that's the thing I will finish with, the cool thing last year that we tried to accomplish, and we did, was scaling up our business, scaling up our methodology, scaling up our youth work. And we now already have this same project in another city in Belgium, in Flanders, Leuven, little smaller city. And we try to scale up methodology, so the youth work methodology around entrepreneurship for youngsters, to other cities in Belgium or in the rest of Europe. So just teasing your brain, because we found out that it really works. We can make the bridge between those youngsters with ideas, with potential, and partners with the expertise around business developing and starting up your business. So that's it. I think now we do time for some questions, but I will get back to you and hear if that's the case.
Thank you very much. I'm asking the audience. Can you hear the applause? Yes. I'm asking the audience if there are any questions for you. Otherwise, I have only a quick one. Are you tracking the fate of the businesses that you have helped to incubate? Are you monitoring the success rates? And what can you say in terms of advantages over competition? What is the benefit of coming to you to receive this kind of advice compared with other competitors?
Yeah, I think there are two parts of those answers. As I mentioned earlier, 75% of these youngsters, which some of them are already started up their business, are trying to let it grow. So they started their business. And others who want to start up their business, but otherwise wouldn't get any advice and just start up their business. So these youngsters, we can guide them through the whole first year, or even after the first year. So we see that they get all the professional help that they need to get when they start up their business. And the results from them, we see that that the success rate of just keeping themselves active, running business, successful is the word I'm not going to use here, but because in the first years it's just about developing your business, staying alive. We see that of all the businesses that we coach individually, so not just speak ones, but really see every month that they're viable. They're more viable than other businesses or than the general businesses that start up with the youngsters, so minus 30 years old. But I don't know the figures by heart. But you see that I think again 70% or 80% of the people that already started up their business and are in coaching with us, that they still are having their business. They even grow their business after 2 years. So we have once they started up, we have a little low little low percentage of the youngsters that need to quit their business, need to stop with their business. So that's the one part of the youngsters that really already start up. And then and the other part, we also have those youngsters that are just exploring, that want to do something. And we can divide those in two groups. One group, we see that we are making the process, by guiding that process, we're cutting it in half. So the time they need to develop their business, to search how their things and the model around that will be, to explore the markets, to finalize their products, their services. We see that time where they normally would take a year or maybe even longer, that we can try and finalize that within 6 months. So that's one. And then the other half there, where the youth work process guidance is really important. We come to the conclusion with those youngsters that actually their idea is a cool idea, but maybe isn't a business idea that they need to start up. on that moment right now, or they don't need to do it alone, or they don't need to do it without any more funding, or they shouldn't do it right now yet. They do something else first. So that's the other part where the work really kicks in, and it's for us more important than the guidance we give around business developing. So
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for intervening by Skype, and I hope to see you in person another time. Thank you and
yes,
goodbye.
that would be nice. Okay.
In Antwerp, March.
Okay.
Okay, so now let's come back to a more comfortable approach to speaking and listening. The next speaker, first of the second round, is Jose Castro from the Persan Foundation. And the topic is a very nice initiative with secondary school students, if I got it right. The floor is yours, let's say, for 10 minutes, and then we go to the questions.
Thank you.
You have here
I'll do my best. Well, thank you very much to everyone for inviting me to be here today to present our project, Build Your Business for students. I have prepared a little presentation with our program and with a couple of slides explaining who we are, what we do at the Persan Foundation, and a final slide with the conclusion after the what have been learned after the 4 years that the project has been in operation. Well, Persan is a Spanish company that manufactures household cleaning products. We are 77 years old, and our factory has been in Seville since the beginning. Today, 100% of the capital belongs to the family Moyayoldi, a Sevillian couple with their sons, so Persan is a family business. We have 3 main business lines, our brands, Flota, Punto Mati, and Sam. Distributor brands, Mercadona, Asda, Tesco, and contract manufacturing. We make the products of Unilever and Henkel for Spain and Portugal. We sell to several countries in Europe, and our factory is one of the largest facilities in our category in the world. We have made a huge investment over the last 15 years, and today we have a modern factory ready to jump to the next level. 800 employees work there, 80 of them in the R&D department, and our last turnover was 400 million euros. 10 years ago, we decided to set up our foundation to professionalize all the corporate social responsibility we have been carrying out until then, over years, as a way to invest in intangible assets, and not only intangible assets as traditional businesses propose. Apart from other activities we do, taking into consideration of the stakeholders, clients, workers, suppliers, and capital, that involve different departments of the company, human resources, sales, purchases, management board. Here you can see what we do towards society in general. Our premise is labor market insertion, to help people to find a job, or to empower them to raise their chance of improving their position. We have an office where we interview 1,500 people every year, most of them immigrants and local people at the bottom of the population pyramid, with low rate of knowledge and a lack of skills. We receive job offers, and we try to match them with the best profile. We promote a sustainable social project. For instance, we have Aethetia, a company we use to offer house cleaning service by the hour. Today, we have 45 employees with a turnover of 350,000 euros, which is totally self-sustainable. Clients can satisfy their demands and at the same time carry out a good social action. We design a specific training course when we find a labor sector that is not well covered by the system. For instance, in the sector of looking after dependent people. We have several programs to help university students to complete their studies when they have financial difficulties. We have a strong social assistance program in spite of the fact that we prefer to teach to fish than to give the fish to the people. One of the more ambitious programs we have is our Integral Education 30%, where the aim is to break the unfair vicious circle of marginality. I will need more time to explain this project. Finally, we can work in labor market insertion if we don't have enough companies which demand workers. So we have several programs to promote and support entrepreneurship. One of them is our percent guide for entrepreneurs. Here you have, you can see. When we put together a list of the resources at the disposal of entrepreneurs to help them. More than 265 resources at their disposal. We have 3 lines of training course with different strategies, short, mid, and long term, all of them under a common scheme. Lot of recommendation and advice from professionals to those who want to initiate a business, from business to entrepreneurs. Our long-term program is the reason for being here today. But what is the context where we are? Here you can see, Andalusia is the largest region in Spain regarding population, 8.5 million people. It's at the top of the table regarding unemployment, with 1 million people. But for young people, this problem is even worse. There is a 55% of unemployment rate among the 16 to 34 years old segment. There is a weak enterprise sector with a low density of company with workers, and a low dimension of them. Only 3.3% has 10 employees or over. In spite of the fact that we have graduate numbers similar to other regions in Spain, there are 10 public universities, there is a low culture of entrepreneurship. 10 points higher after the economic crisis, probably as an alternative to the lack of opportunities in the labor market. Moreover, the relationship between employees and employers has to change. Companies will dedicate all their effort to their core business, and they will subcontract the rest of the activity. Markets are changing at an exponential pace, and to be in line with this, companies need intra-entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurial competencies must be present in all of them, whether they are going to set up a business or not. On the other hand, we don't have a sufficiently agile educational system. And there are more and more teachers who want to implement this kind of new teaching models, but they don't know how to do it. Then, what is our proposal? A program that takes place throughout the year, with 2 main parts. First, when we work the theory, and a second part where we practice on a real case. Real entrepreneurs and business people collaborate in the training. It's an experience for all the students in the class, not for a few of them. There are activities inside and outside the classroom. The scope of the program considers all the skills identified for entrepreneurship, self-autonomy, leadership, innovation, and business abilities. We have a collaboration agreement with the Princess of Girona Foundation, through which we offer 2 training courses to teachers in 2 levels. We give them methods, tools, and resources to help them in the task of awakening entrepreneurship talent in their students. We have managed to receive an official recognition of this course from the regional administration. We have the material we use in this course. 20 centers, 40 teachers, 1,000 students every year. Here we have the schedule of the program. During May, June, we visit several schools explaining the program and setting up participant centers. At the end of September, beginning of October, the training course for teachers takes place. From September to January, teachers develop in their classes 12 sessions based on the Kaisa Young Entrepreneurs Toolkit. Students develop their proposal working in groups of 4 or 5 people. During October and November, we visit each school with an entrepreneur to carry out a motivational session. The entrepreneur tells them about his case, and we finish with an amazing activity. At the end of January, all the students in the class select the best proposal according to the requirements. From this moment, everybody works on this proposal. In May, they have to initiate sales. They must do it inside and outside the schools. At the end of the course, we proceed to close down the business. A lot of people tell us how to set up a business, but not many people tell us how to close it down. Here we have the content of the 12 sessions to develop in the classes. There are 2 activity classes per module, and we have 6 modules. The first one explores the skills we need to set up a business. It invites us to look at ourselves, to discover and evaluate our competencies, and to put the focus on the need to work in a heterogeneous group. The second one is about how to look around us, to be aware about the existing problems that need to be solved. The third one explores how to use your creativity to propose a solution to these problems. The fourth one is about to get a binomial problem solution and to define a business model. The aim of the fifth one is how to construct the proposal. And the final covers how to design a good pitch to convince the market of the value of the proposal. As I said before, at the end of January, students have to select a proposal from all the proposals of all the group in the class. This proposal has to match all of these requirements. To be a product, not a service. To be orientated to a big segment of the population. It's preferable that is orientated to the students of secondary schools. And able to be done with a budget of 400 euros. This is the amount of money we will raise, and we subsequently we will try to make it. In order to achieve the participation and commitment of all students, we suggest making up to 5 pivotations. This is used to introduce the lean startup and the design thinking methodologies. At this point, we introduce one of the most valued activities of the program. It is how to raise the 400 euros of the budget. For the first 200 euros, students have to sell the project to a minimum of 40 people in order to collect from them up to 5 euros to make the proposal become a reality. To make this action more real, they have to issue them with a certificate similar to a property title. For the remaining 200 euros, this has to be obtained from a local bank branch. For that, they have to select a group of up to 5 people from the class. This selected group have to prepare the interview with the bank branch manager. They have to have a convincing speech and answer the basic question. What is the problem they want to solve? What is the proposal? What is the plan regarding the use of the money? And what is the result that they expect to obtain? We set up an interview between them, and teachers go with them, but can't be in the meeting to force the group to manage the situation. Obviously, we will have previously contacted the bank branch manager to explain the project and what the role is that we want him to perform. The Persan Foundation gives the 200 euros, but the student can be aware of that. From February to May, they have to build the prototype at the first unit. We support the teacher during this time, and the entrepreneur who gave the lecture acts as a mentor of the group, how to do it, looking for supplier, and so on. During May, they have to initiate sales. If they have followed the instruction, they will have a product for a student that solves a problem the student have, and also they can afford it. All the students of the school have at their disposal the free slot in the table to try to sell the product. At the end of May, we set up a real event with several stands for the students. They have the opportunity to sell their product in a real environment. And finally, at the end of the course, the closing down of the business takes place. We compare incomes and expenses, and two situations can happen. When incomes are higher than expenses, in this case, we introduce the corporate social responsibility, and they choose an NGO to donate the profits to, after returning the money to the creditors. When there are losses, they have to face bankruptcy and to set up a meeting of creditors to explain to them that they have tried all they can, but they haven't been able to obtain profits. As we say, failure is admitted. Lack of effort isn't. We try with this activity demystify the concept of failure. They do a final session where the things learned are summarized. Conclusion. There is a little entrepreneurial culture root in our society. It's a choice of a high rate of uncertainty versus working for a company. The labor market needs workers with entrepreneurial skills, entrepreneurs. Markets are in an exponential evolution. This skill can be taught as matter based on knowledge. It's necessary to learn by doing. This training process needs to be started from early on. The sooner you start, the better result will be. To assess the impact, it's necessary to develop a specific evaluation system, pre-test, post-test, with these indicators: attitude towards entrepreneurship, general knowledge about entrepreneurship and internal organization of companies, and basic skill trained during the project. There is an enrichment of the educational system when there is a common task with the business sector. The program provides a collaboration between the private sector, educational center, and entrepreneurship experiences. It's a local community oriented toward promoting a culture of entrepreneurship. Consolidates collaboration with educational center over time. Provide specialized training in entrepreneurship to teachers, and disseminate successful experiences and good practice in other areas. Thank you very much again to everyone for inviting me here to be here today to present our project.
Stay there. Thank you, José. And now questions from anyone who would like to start. You have one.
I just want to highlight, to let you know, we are talking about, first, a large but local company. It's not a multinational, because we have other multinationals, especially telecom companies supporting incubators, as you have seen in Sevilla. But of course, they are very multinational, and they have their interests. They want the technology, that they want to get all these startups. Their business is, their core business, nothing related to entrepreneurship. They don't receive any public funds. Actually, they don't want to get anything related to the administration and to public funds. Because he doesn't share. He's very humble. He didn't say it, but I want to say it, highlight it. So this kind of initiative, I think, it's a large commitment with the society. And they see it. They see the main need of the region is employment. And how can we fight against employment, create businesses? How do they do it? From a point of view as a successful business, helping others to create their business. And I think this is a very interesting for us, a very interesting initiative that I want to highlight.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm Carlotta Viviani from the municipality of Florence, and I would like to ask you if the Guia Persan is available in some digital way or through internet, a web platform or something like that.
Yes, well, we do this guide every year with the information, update information. We have this information free access in our website, www.fundacionpersan.es. We have a physical presentation of this guide too, because we find more comfortable to look for the information and to have in a safe place near you when you need to look for the information inside that. This is the 5th edition of this guide, and this information is very valued because at the beginning, the first edition, we have to research on the web for all the information, and all we know people put on the web the information, but never erase the information. And there are a lot of information on the web that is not updated. We now contact with all the suppliers, all the institutions, private and public institutions that have resources at the disposal of the entrepreneurs. We ask them about if the information we have is correct or not, or we need to add a new information. And all of this information is in this guide.
Thank you, José. And I think there will be time to continue this discussion during the breaks. Now, thank you, and a big applause to José and his initiative. Our next speaker now is Karolina Opie. Sorry for the spelling. From the Polish Chamber of Commerce. From the Polish Chamber of Commerce.
We're going to be together.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Hi, thank you very much for having us here today. From a little bit different perspective probably, because as majority of you mentioned, you usually cooperate with Chamber of Commerce, taking their support and knowledge. And here I am presenting the Chamber of Commerce, saying how we foster young businesses. We are the National Chamber of Commerce in Poland, so we are the umbrella institution for all other Chamber of Commerce in Poland. Okay. It's good now. We were founded 27 years ago, and we are the oldest and biggest business institution in Poland, gathering more than 150 different business organizations from all over the world. This is our 25th anniversary, and this picture is historical here, because we gathered all the living presidents in one room, and the presidents that took the position after 1989, of course. Which was quite strange, because they all support different ideas and they all represent different political views. So I put this slide on because I wanted to show you that we gather people together, and throughout the whole 27 years, the institution itself managed to be apolitical. So we basically cooperate with everyone. Throughout these 27 years, of course, I could do the presentation that 5 hours wouldn't be enough to say how much we did and what are we doing on the regular basis. But with no doubt, one of our majority activity is international activity, which you can see the numbers here. We have more than 140 agreements signed with the institutions from all over the world. Each year, more than 40 business delegations from all over the world is coming to Polish Chamber of Commerce, and we are sending abroad around 30 delegations. I would say 95% of these delegations are outside EU, and 95% of these delegations are also male, male participants, unfortunately. Our other main activity is to, of course, advocate for Polish entrepreneurs. So each time there is a legal bill about to come that in any way affects Polish business, then we are there to provide the best solutions for Polish businesses, talking to government on that issue. Here is the map of Poland where you can see our members' organizations. You can see that almost in every region there is at least one, but in most of them there are more organizations than one. What is very important in Poland, Chamber of Commerce isn't, like to be a member of Chamber isn't mandatory. So it's up to the entrepreneur whether he wants to sign up to the Chamber or not. Which is the big success to have so many chambers, and through that chambers we probably collect around 200,000 SMEs, so entrepreneurs from all over the country, and this is our biggest strength. So no government, no institution can just walk by saying, okay, we don't see you, because here we are in the whole Poland, and you have to keep that in your mind and take that into consideration. Oops. Oh, we don't see them. Okay, these were, I don't know why, because I can see them on the computer. These were our 6 fields of main activities that I will go super thoroughly, because this is not the main subject of this presentation. So probably I have to just, pretend it wasn't there. Yeah, but then the words aren't visible too. When you were talking about similarities and differences, I find so many differences between still Poland as a post-Soviet country and you guys that represent here the western part of Europe. So there is no unemployment in Poland, almost. It's like 4.6% now, so basically someone who wants to work will find job. We have no problems with finding funds. We have too much money, basically, because of the EU funds. So we would say money is laying there on the floor, just come and grab it. We strongly encourage you to come and grab it with us. Now, the whole... so here's the thing. As a Polish Chamber of Commerce, we started the initiative called Young and Innovative, as we wanted to gather, and it was 10 years ago, we wanted to gather the startup environment that was just building at that time together, showing them that they can be also represented by us. So that we started cooperation with National Polish Bank, with Ministry of Development, with Polish Agency for supporting entrepreneurs, and these were public institutions. But very soon, when all the startup institutions were growing up, we had to deal with the thought that, okay, we will not be better than you. We can only support you. And what we decided to do was to gather all these institutions together around us. So basically, our role here isn't that much activating as supporting. So basically, we wait for them to tell us where's the need to cooperate, what can we do for them, and then as the institution that has got easier ways to get to the government, we just support all these other startup institutions that are in Poland, and this is how we found our niche. Among any activities we organize, each year we organize Young Entrepreneurs Forum, and we already organized 6 editions of them. Each time we cooperate on one side with government and on the other side with the startup institutions I mentioned before. The platform we create is the possibility to basically say what's wrong in the legal acts, in the governmental actions, what should be changed, why these entrepreneurs and startups cannot develop in the way they could, for example. And of course, one company will not be heard, 10 companies will not be heard, but the institution that represents 200,000 of them must be heard. And this is our main objective here, to show our strength as the representing institution in front of the government. About the audience, we invite students, kids, entrepreneurs, politicians, and experienced businessmen. There is no limit, the sky is the limit basically, but everyone comes, and you know what, the atmosphere is so chilled that everyone feels free to talk with each other on the very daily basis that they wouldn't find occasion probably throughout their whole lives if it wasn't for the forum that we created. It's about workshops that we organize with our partners. The whole year 2016, we're cooperating with Facebook, for example, showing how you can boost your business with Facebook. Someone here asked today about how do you detect the market. I don't know if you know that Facebook is the best tool to detect the market, and they can provide you super, super solid information about your consumers. And for example, you can decide to start the shop in one area of the city, and then Facebook can provide you the information how many people are going around and what are their interests because of their Facebook pages and stuff. So this is a little bit creepy, but this is also what we know thanks to the cooperation with companies like that. And if they support young entrepreneurs, then we are okay with that. It's also about ideas and connecting people. So you would see on the right side, like Marcin Beme, who is the founder of Audioteka, one of the most successful startup built in Poland, talking to just a random participant, exchanging ideas. We invited the youngest startupper in Poland. He was 12 at that time. He is, I guess, 15 now and already wrote 2 books and has got like 5 very successful startups building with his father. So he basically did workshops for another 10, 11 years old, saying, okay, let's start a business together. What can you do? What ideas do you have? It was absolutely brilliant. So the clue is to go everywhere and try to support everyone. And more about atmosphere, there is always after party after the official part, so that everyone stays together for longer. And of course, this is not the event that would gather, 2,000 people and took 5 days, because we cannot allow ourselves to do something like that. But we can allow ourselves to create this platform for 200, 300 people. Why am I mentioning that? Is because based on Polish law, Chamber of Commerce is not linked to the government in any way. So basically, we work as a company itself, and each department in the chamber is like a separate company, which I myself feel like a businessman trying to fund my activities. So basically, if I have an idea, I have to find funds for this idea in order to make it happen. So we are not funded by government, and so we don't fund government. We are not dependent on government, and they are not dependent on us. However, they can ask us for help. And that's the whole point, that they can order us some activities, but they are not obliged to do that. Which means that through 25 years now, there is like, to any political force, we have to prove that we are not a unicorn, basically, that despite the fact very successful working before, we can still work with you because we are open-minded in that matter. Another activity that we started, and it is very, very governmental linked actually, is the platform called business.gov.pl that was founded because of the EU directive put on the EU countries, which was to create the single point of contact for entrepreneurs. And Polish Chamber of Commerce in Poland is one from the 2 partners to the Ministry of Development, which is the biggest ministry in Poland, to create this website. So the idea basically is to create a website when the entrepreneur can enter and find all the answers for his problems. The task is quite difficult. We in the PCC are responsible for development of the portal, promoting it, and development of help center for entrepreneurs. And this help center turned out to be more than needed for entrepreneurs. I think, if I correctly remember, during 3 years, we answered like 1 million cases in the time shorter than 48 hours. And when people have in mind that this platform has got Gov in the name, they somehow feel more sure that the answer they get is proper, and it will not change that very soon. So the portal itself has got also descriptions of services, which is you can find the description of any service you have to go through when you start your own business or you are a businessman. More than 300 online services, which means, and this is what we are obliged to do, to put online services for entrepreneurs on this website. So basically, to make everything as online as possible. And the guides are the main support for young entrepreneurs, because if you have an idea of starting the company, you have to have in mind through how many regulations you have to go. And these guides help you to create a PDF ready document telling you step by step what do you have to do legally in order to successfully register your company. So no matter whether you want to start like hairdresser shop or your cab driving company, you can find the answers there. Just answering a few simple questions like, okay, what's your city of activity, and some more how many people you're gonna employ and stuff like that. The PDF will be created, and you just know what to do step by step, what actions to take.
I will adapt to this information a little bit, because since I was a consultant consulting the clients, the customers that came to our center, and they were about to set up the companies, and we very often used business.gov.pl in order to give them the very short vision of what to do step by step in order to set up the company. Very often those were very young people who had absolutely no idea how to set up the company, and what's connected with that, with this. What are the regulations? What are the licenses? What are the I don't know, the allowances that they would need to get in order to go through this process. And this platform, well, it provides this solution, and it's very, very successful. It's very, very successful. It gives you the information on the taxes that you should pay, for example, the taxation form that you should choose in order to be mostly efficient within the company, about the codes that identify what the company does, and generally everything. So it's really golden solution.
The website is also in English, as you can see. So we also foster like foreign entrepreneurs who would like to start their business in Poland. And when I told you at the first in the first sentence that we have plenty of money, guys, come and take it. It's like somehow it is like that, because the new reality we have now in Poland when it comes to investing in startups. I don't know if all of you are aware of that. So now the Polish Development Fund was created, and this is the fund of funds, which means we no longer put money directly to the startups. We fund the VC or private investor or business angels, and we give them free hand to invest the money further. After 6 years, they have to capitalize their investment or get out of the investment. So this is the new reality. The programs are being opening and opening and opening. Some of them are running right now. Basically, there is 1 billion zlotys to be taken this year from PFR, which is the Fund of Development, and this is around 250 million euros, and around 125 million euros in another program. And all of these programs are focused on startups, new businesses, or businesses at its early stages. So the whole pain is to find enough good projects and startups and companies to actually invest the money. So yeah, we kind of have this struggle in Poland right now, and I am still thinking why there is not enough cooperational like bridge programs between countries, because in my opinion you could easily find like a startup from Italy could find a partner in Poland and just get started to do something new in order to get money from these EU funds that are still in Poland and that are not here anymore, for example. Or are not in Germany anymore, for example. And it hurts me a little bit because we tried to do that this year. We organized Polish-Israeli Startup Forum, and we learned quite much from it, but they actually weren't interested in either our ideas or money that much. So it came out that building such bridges isn't so easy, actually. And I had the same presentation 2 weeks ago on Polish-Italian Startup Forum in Warsaw, organized by Italian trade agency. And I think that all these speed dating meetings, you know, they are focusing on wrong things because probably they should be more prepared to talk about how can we create something together in order to boost our business and cooperate in 2 or 3 countries, for example. Yeah, and the last but not least, the Business Gov.pl program and the fact that we are the partner allows us and gives us the possibility of building the business hub in Polish Chamber of Commerce headquarters. So these are the pictures of how it's gonna more or less look. The business hub will be ready in top 2 years, maybe even earlier. And again, we try to focus, and we will be focusing on connecting 2 words, so governmental world with business world, and in that matter, this hub should be different than any other hubs. We are also gonna have 400 people auditorium room to be rented for free for new businesses, startups, environment, institutions, and stuff like that because of the project. And the headquarters of PCC in Warsaw is just in the middle of Warsaw, so this is very attractive way, like 5 minutes walking from Old Town probably, which we are very proud of. Thank you very much. That would be all from me. If you have any questions on what we do, how we do, I will be more than happy to answer them. And I will pass the microphone to Janek.
I don't know whether there is still time to have...
Well, I was very thorough.
We only have time for one quick question to our speakers. Okay, I have one. You said in the beginning that the employment situation is quite favorable in Poland, and you said we are looking for entrepreneurs, and among the many ways, you have also these initiatives for young entrepreneurs, would-be entrepreneurs. Don't you think that it is a little bit risky to push young people towards being an entrepreneur in case they are not born as such, and we know that some of the skills that are required cannot be actually trained?
I might answer the first part of the question. Yes, we have quite many initiatives. I was about to give a presentation, but there is little time, and I won't be able to do so. However, in the presentation, I was about to show that we, as the city of Warsaw, for example, we are organizing and we are involved in the co-organization of quite many events and quite many initiatives that help young people to start up. However, they also help people to develop their internal skills, entrepreneurial skills, which doesn't mean that they need to become entrepreneurs. For example, we cooperate with the local private universities, such as Koźmiński University, which representative Mrs. Anna Olszewska was in Tallinn. And for example, we tell them about the startups, we tell them about the possibilities, we tell them about the tools that are available on the market in order to set up the company. However, we also tell them that it is the most important to look inside your heart, to look in your skills, to look what you like and not what's the trend on the market. Because, you know, quite many young people just follow other, because it's like, I don't know, like they follow the herd of animals that direct towards one direction. Yeah, let's build the startups. Yeah, it's so popular right now. All right, it's so popular, but do you really want it? Do you really need it? Is it so important for you, or is it important for them? So it is a very good question. It is a very good question, and we're trying to show them that there are many other possibilities. Maybe it is better to be a technician, maybe a car mechanic, for example, than the startup. So, yep, it's...
I will add a very short thing. That's the change that I said, that we are going through changes in Poland right now, because previously, in the previous funding, programming period, people were just given money, and they never had to even say what happened with this money. So you had to create a company that would last for 2 or 3 years. That was it, 2 years. And if the company bankrupted or for any reasons didn't work well, that was it. Money was yours, money taken. And I guess that is why governments changed their view on that a little bit and decided to fund funds as more professional people and people who are more ready to actually invest this money further, who will find the opportunities of good startups easier. And that's the whole point. I think that historically, like people my age are a little bit disrupted with the idea of taking money from the EU, because it was like you said, let's take some money, let's find a friend who will have any idea, let's put that on the paper, and probably 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 zlotys will be ours. And that really happened. So now it's, we are developing in a good direction, I guess, and the answer for your question will be that better ideas, better people, better groups of people who will be supported by VC, by business angels, by private investors with their knowledge will get the money, and so that the country will flourish even more.
Thank you. And congratulations. Okay, we have two more speakers before the end. The first will be Veronica Moretti, Vice Mayor of... No? No. Assessore of the Comune, of the municipality of Rosignano, right? The floor is yours. Yes, the microphone.
So, thank you for inviting me here. And I'm here also on behalf of ANCI Toscana, on the director of ANCI Toscana, Simone Gheri, and I bring also his wishing and greetings. And I'm also here for presenting my best practice of my municipality. And ANCI Toscana is a partner of us, so we cooperate together on this project. I go very, very shortly on the best practice because, you know, we are a municipality, very little municipality, 30,000 inhabitants. We are located on coastal Tuscany, very different reality from here, from central Tuscany, and where young people have very few opportunity to make their business and to make their creativity be a real business for us, for them. So we try to give an answer to this problem. We start just 4 years ago. We start with our administration, and we decide to work on youth policies and to work for supporting young people to express their talents and to try to give them a good environment to stay in Rosignano and not to go away from Rosignano. So the project starts in a very simple way. We have a public incubator in Rosignano, and we have some people with work with us on the incubator, and the idea of the contest starts from a very simple conversation with a local entrepreneur, a young local entrepreneur, and me, and we are just speaking about how to give an opportunity to young people and also how to stimulate young people in a reality like Rosignano to express their creativity and to give them opportunity to participate in the society. So our objectives are very, very simple. Give a real opportunity to young people, collect ideas for innovating the territory, so to have very fresh and young ideas for give a push to our territory, enhancing some strategic sector because we choose some sector for collecting the ideas, give to young people the opportunity to go up. We focus a lot on training and on education in this project and also with our incubator, and create a local network. The network in our project was and is very, very, very important because the municipality alone is not enough for implement this project. The ingredients. A municipality and is not very common that a municipality is a coordinator of such a project. We accept this challenge, and we want to be the coordinator. Alone is not possible to coordinate and to implement this project. A municipality should have a role for supporting people to express their talent in their territory, but is necessary a qualified network. So we basically work on facilitate the composition of the network. So we contact some local entrepreneurs, some business professionals, our incubator, because we have a public incubator, the Chamber of Commerce, ANCI Toscana, and some web and digital experts, and also some experts on the 3 topics we choose to develop. Then 3 prizes, so we give a little budget for 3 prizes and 3 incubation paths carried on by the above mentioned network. And so 3 topics: the circular economy, art and culture, and digital innovation, which are 3 important and strategic topics for our municipality. Then we start in February this year, and the slogan was the wind of ideas. So basically we start collecting ideas. Ideas also without very match with the market or match with business. We want to give support to people who have ideas to transform the idea in possible business or a professional. So 3 main steps: the call for ideas in March, June, then the tutoring, the network of people we have, support people who post their ideas on our website to transform the ideas in a business plan and to have a very entrepreneurial project. Then, after this period, we have the final pitch and the final event where we assign the award and the 3 incubation paths. The tutoring step was very, very important because we support these young people under 35 years. We have also people from 18 years, 16 years old from the high schools to transform their ideas in a project. And they are very, very good in this phase. Then some numbers. We have very little numbers because we are. So we collect 26 ideas. We have 8 coaches, and they provide their support for free. They are voluntary because they think that it was a good idea for supporting our territory. They are 8 coaches located in our territory, so local coaches. We provide 1 startup learning day, 1 day where all the ideas together participate in a learning day, basically on how to manage a business plan, how to transform the ideas in a project, how to make a pitch. And then we arrive in November with 16 entrepreneurial projects. So we lose someone in the way. Yeah, I have a little video. I'm sorry, some little parts are in Italian, but there are a lot of images, so it's quite easy to understand. This is the video of the final pitch and the award event.
Intanto vi ringrazio, ringrazio i tutor che hanno seguito i ragazzi e ringrazio i ragazzi che sono qui. Io parto raccontandovi una piccola storia, che è la storia di come è nato questo contest. E questa storia nasce al tavolo di un bar e nasce da una domanda di riuscire ad arrivare al cuore della questione. E il cuore della questione era dare un'opportunità a chi aveva un'idea.
Abbiamo provato diciamo, a fare un qualcosa di positivo e propositivo per il territorio, per i giovani del territorio, però senza la vostra partecipazione, senza il vostro coinvolgimento ovviamente questo progetto non si sarebbe radicato e non avrebbe prodotto ciò che stamattina possiamo vedere.
Il mondo globale significa che non esistono più confini. Voi oggi non esiste più il concetto di territoriale, siete in un mondo connesso. Potete lavorare a Rosignano, a Milano, a New York, a Dubai, dove volete, il concetto è lo stesso.
I give you some images and of the final day. We are very proud of these young people that decide to accept our challenge and to give their creativity to the municipality. And the important thing of this project is the network and the fact that these people provide the support to the three ideas that award the prizes, but also to the other ideas. We are now trying to support also the other ideas which are not awarded and to give them the opportunity. And we are now working also on the second edition of the contest, trying to learn the lesson of the first edition, so trying to arrange some points, some weak points, and to expand the network. We would like to have also other partners and to make that our good practice can be also spread in other places, in other municipalities, not only in Tuscany, not only in Italy. Some images of the prizes. So, thank you.
Any question? No? Okay. You mentioned the network. I just wanted to stress this. And I want to ask you, how many inhabitants does the municipality of Rosignano have? Because it is exactly what...
Yeah, 30,000 inhabitants, so not a lot of. And we also give the opportunity to people not only living in Rosignano to present an idea, but living in all Tuscany. So people from 16 to 35 years living in all Tuscany. The important thing was that the idea should be located in Rosignano, should be an answer to our problems or our challenge. So the three topic we provide, and also during the Startup Learning Day, we provide also some tips, some suggestions to the people who participate, giving them the opportunity to give us an answer or to solve a problem we have. So the 26 ideas comes from all Tuscany, most from Rosignano and the province of Livorno, so near Rosignano, but also from other parts of Tuscany.
Thank you so much. A big applause to Veronica. And now over to our last speaker. Are you okay? Technical issue? Surprise.
Sorry.
Okay, while we are waiting, if we could go back to the map of Tuscany that was presented in the keynote speech. No, the big concentration of startup enterprises were from the north, were from the, no, like our colleague said, along the railway, around Florence and the metropolitan area of Florence. Rosignano is in the very south, by the sea, far away from the main roads of innovation, and it is a small city. And nevertheless, they have managed to use the network to promote and attract entrepreneurship from other peripheral areas of Tuscany that could not be supported otherwise in the development of their own ideas. Now we are waiting for the solution of this technical problem. The last speaker is Maria Petrucci from the Spazio Costanza, and the title of their presentation is Roots and Roots for People in Transition. We have been listening a little to the description of initiatives for people who are not residing in the area. We heard from our Polish colleagues and our Estonian colleague that they are open and open-minded and welcome the appearance of initiatives from other countries, and this is a very positive attitude that must be praised. We are now dealing with an initiative that has to do with people who are already close to us and belong to a special category of disadvantaged groups, such as people on the move, coming from farther places and going to places that are farther. What I am developing together with colleagues is a concept of special citizenship for the immigrant people. Because in many cases, what we experience in Italy and in southern European countries is that transition becomes a story that lasts for years. And these people quite often with their families, they are somehow experiencing something that has suspended their citizenship rights, because they do not have the acknowledgement of the rights from the country of origin, and they are not yet there where they want to go. So they live a sort of suspended experience, and this is what should be better reflected upon and understood also by policymakers. We have now solved our problems.
Yes.
So the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us. So Spazio Costanza is the first co-working in the region of Tuscany, and therefore in the town of Florence, with children and baby care facilities. So we created an intimate atmosphere. We wanted people to feel a little bit like home, but not having all the distractions that they would have at home. And of course, offering all the office facilities that you find in any normal co-working. But the big innovative idea was to create an area dedicated to children, because despite our strong Catholic vocation as a country, we are not a very family-friendly country. So that was the need we detected in the market. So the idea was started by 3 young women, at least in the sense, in the definition of young we have in Italy, because we consider ourselves young until we are in our 40s. So it's Anna, the first woman you see on the left. She had a background in logistics, so taking care of international conferences. And so she developed this type of skills. And she also applied these skills in the social sector, because she has been working for a while for the Dynamo Camp Foundation. Then you have my colleague Michela, who is also here with us today. And she has a background in financial management, which was, of course, a very important aspect to start our business. And she's also an expert in child protection. So we met, and each of us had a piece of the puzzle in mind. So we just put together our ideas, and we discovered that actually this was the key, and therefore our strength. So we actually started the co-working before the co-working was there, just talking to each other and putting our ideas together. So what is our target? We like to say that our place is open from 0 years old until elderly people, intended as grandparents, because we have facilities for all the families and all the family components. So everyone can find a good reason to come and use one of our facilities. Most of our users, of course, are women, 85%, and mainly in the age where they become mothers. So in Italy, it means between 30 and 40 years old. But we don't only, in our target, we don't only have individuals, we also have associations. So for example, national associations that don't have a seat in Florence. So they come and rent, for example, a conference room in our co-working. Just to mention one, we have Greenpeace, who is now regularly coming and have meeting or training their volunteers in our place. Of course, we have, since we have a strong social vocation, we also have people in need who can find affordable facilities in our place. We like to show the map of our co-working because it gives a clear idea of how the structure is made and what kind of services we have. And also, I have to say that one of our peculiarity is that each space can actually change according to the activity that is taking place in the room. So we like to joke saying that we are also a moving company, because in the same day, in the same room, many different things can happen. But of course, each activity has a dedicated place and it's equipped properly to do such activity. So for example, in the evening, we have yoga and Pilates courses, and in the same room during the day, we have conferences or trainings. So we are a co-working space that not only changed the way of working, but is also able to change your life. What do we mean with that? We mean that we offer affordable fees
And we strongly believe that people are much more effective in working if they don't waste their energies in worrying about their family, about the logistics of their life, etc. That's why in one place we want to offer many different services that are related to their profession, that are related to their free time, that are related to their family, because this gives the advantage of saving money and at the same time saving time. So it's much easier to combine all your needs. So it's also a place that offers the opportunity to socialize with other people, which is useful, of course, as in every co-working for professional reasons, but also, for example, our professional mothers who work in our place, during the break, they have time to exchange ideas on how to be good mothers, or if they have some doubts, they feel less lonely, because we found that especially women that maybe have their own business, they feel very lonely when they have a child, because now many couples don't live in the same city of their families. They don't have a family network. So they really need to meet other people and see that other people are facing the same problems that they are facing. We also have a system of time banking. So with few co-workers, we already experiment this. So for example, with an architect who is doing co-working in our place, we were bartering. I mean, she was paying in terms of expertise the services she was using. And we incubate micro projects, meaning that people can come to our place, they have an idea, and we help them to build this idea. What we offer. On the first column, you see all the services that are related to the working sector and to the office facilities. And on the other column, you see all the other activities that are taking place, which are many, and they refer, as I say, to the cultural sector and also to the free time sector. And we also do activities that are at the same time suitable for adults and children together, because we want to give families the opportunity also to stay together. So we have a psychosocial area, which is mainly based on a multidisciplinary working group, because differently from other co-working, our co-workers are not digital or communication expert. I mean, we have one, but all the other professionals work for the health and well-being of the family. So we have therapists, speech therapists, neuropsychomotricists, and all these professional figures that work with adults and children. We are able to personalize the response. So the person, and it often happens that a person comes to our place for one service, and then they discover that there are many other services available. And this is very useful because it helps to fidelize the client, and because once they trust us, they are much more keen to buy other services. And of course, if we are taking care of their babies, they really must trust us. And we have a Psycho-Solidarity Center that is offering therapy to very affordable fees, because the fee is made according to their income. And we know there are many people who are in need, and it's not that easy to find such service. Of course, the health public sector offer this service, but there are, I mean, they are not able to respond the need because there are so many people in need. Sorry. So we also work on the education and professional orientation. And so, for example, we have 2 counselors who are really specialized in orienting people to find the right way for their professional life. And we did programs for example, abused women that are a very fragile segment of the population, because we know, unfortunately, that very often abused women are not economically independent. And that's one of the main reasons why it is so difficult to make a change in their life. Monoparental families that, of course, face even more challenges than a normal family. And we also found ourselves helping migrants, more especially refugee women who came to do internships in our co-working. And it was the first way to practice a job in the Italian market before they can apply for new opportunities. And then we have these same services can be offered, and they're actually offered to companies. So we're going in the company welfare system, and we help companies to replace actually women that are coming back from the maternity leave, because unfortunately it happens very often in Italy that after a woman has a child, the company says, okay, now the child is your priority, you will not be an effective worker anymore. This is not true, and this is called discrimination. So we like to stress the fact that a woman that has a child has even more skills than she had before, and this can actually be very well applied to the work system, not only to the family. And we, as I said, we incubate micro-projects. So we start, of course, from the analysis of the proposal. So differently, I mean, now today there are many incubators of startups, but most of them are focused on digital, high-tech, high technology startups. While we would like to help people that might have a very simple idea, but they don't know where to start. And they come to our place and they can try and see, actually test on our microcosmo if their idea is viable or not. So we see what kind of skills this person maybe need to acquire or develop, and we see which of our professional co-workers can be involved and helping and in developing the project. So we create the team, and then we actually develop the methodology and the best strategy to launch this idea. Work-life balance, this is actually our main philosophy. Because we have flexible services available, as I said, in a single space to encourage the personal growth, meaning not only professional, but human, culture, and social. So, for example, we are now promoting the 3rd edition of a movie festival that is addressing families, so giving the opportunity to parents to go to the cinema with their kids, and offering actually 2 projections, one for the adults, one for the kids. And after the projections, the adults have a debate with some experts, because each movie is chosen on an issue. So, for example, environment or other important issues. And the children do a lab, so a workshop on this same issue. And that's also a way to stimulate a debate in the family. So we have the training center and parental support. So every activity we offer, it's feasible if you have kids, and you can bring your kids while you are training, while you are working, or while you are doing a yoga course. Well-being and free time. And a space, as I said, for aggregation, because many of our professionals work with youth, so that's also a place where youth can, for example, study together or have homework support offered by experts. And as I said, all these services are included in packages that are now offered to companies. And our human resources, who are actually our main asset, because we didn't have a lot of money to invest, but we had a great network of professionals who really help us developing the idea and put it in practice. So you can see on here all our experts that are working in the health and socio-sanitary sector, but we also have, for example, legal experts, language teachers, educators, counselors, and of course all the persons that put in practice all the cultural activities and free time as sport coaches. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria. Any question? Please introduce yourself.
My name is Andreas Jonas from STIC Berlin. I have a question. How do you finance all your activities? I think it's a very interesting offer for young founders or young women are interested in founding. Who's financing this?
The users pay for the services. So we built our business plan in a way, of course, that is sustainable, and we are able to offer the services to affordable prices. And then, as I said, of course, if a person is buying multiple services, that's even more convenient, of course.
Thank you for a great presentation and, and doing a really good job with all those activities. So I have a little comment and then I have a question. So the comment is that I definitely believe that the target group that you're targeting, it's very much worth to work on. So definitely women are struggling to get back to work after being home with kids, and also there's a lot of business potential there. So like real life stories, a woman who's been in home with children for like many years goes for a job interview, and she's asked if she can multitask, and the woman says, I have 4 children. She's hired. So definitely they come back with even more skills. So, but my question is that you are situated here in Firenze. So are you focused only for the local crowd here, or actually to the other parts of Italy, and women over there have access to your service as well? So do you have like other locations there, or are there similar hubs or organization offering that sort of activities around there? Thank you.
For the moment, we don't have other seats, but there are similar projects in other Italian main cities, and it's becoming more popular. Like the first one was established in Milan, of course, because it's the business city of Italy, but there is one in Rome, and now even in smaller cities. So, and we are in network with them, so we know that like if one of their clients come to Florence, they know that they can tell them to use Spazio Costanza here.
Okay, I see no other question. Then a big thank you to Maria. And now I think 5 more minutes of your time to wrap up and conclude the morning session. I will also use this technology. We have been listening to many presentations, and some we have missed them because of the travel problems, but I think the picture was quite interesting, and I also take the opportunity to thank Anci Toscana for inviting me to moderate this morning session. I was inspired by all these talks, and I really think that you have put your hearts, not only your brains, into the preparation of the speeches and also the projects running in the background. I have tried to cluster them. I may have made mistakes. If you have major objections against this representation, just let me know during the break. What I was personally interested in, of course, you can see from the top of this slide and all the slides in this presentation, we have on the right-hand side the SPEEDUP project logo, but on the left-hand side there is another project logo. Designscapes is the project that I represent here, and I will tell you a few words about that before the end of this session. It is a project funded by the European Commission under the H2020 program, and so I tried to adjust the things that I have read first and then listened to within the scope of our H2020 project, Designscapes. So I asked myself not only who the target groups were, which is somehow trivial, it is in the range of the activities of SPEEDUP, but also what the territorial scope of those initiatives was, and the business model followed, and let's say general vocation or orientation towards which kind of audiences or main audiences. In this light, what I have been struck by is this concept of network I mentioned at the beginning. Many, not only of the presentations today, but also the best practice reports that I have read, they make reference to one or the other concept of network. I don't know if the magician in the corner can make the slide more visible, because we miss all the edges, and non abbiamo i trattini neri. I think we must survive without them. But, okay, the slides will be shared. Basically, what the different, not the dots, the dots are quite alike apart from the colors, but the edges, which you cannot see, they tell us of 3 different kinds of network. On the left-hand side, the centralized network, you can imagine that we have a single hub, the municipality of Lisbon, we didn't see today, the municipality of Rosignano Marittimo, and they are trying to create connections all around with other players, other actors. And then we have the decentralized network, where we have several hubs. And this is also interesting. Many presenters said, for example, the people from the University of Florence, our start-uppers, they want to reside, they want to locate themselves in a city because they find so many hubs where they can talk to and ask for information and so on. And still, it is quite inspiring that we don't see the edges, because my argument was, since the beginning, that we probably have the railway but not the coaches, and in some cases, even the decentralized network doesn't work well enough, because it doesn't deliver the information to those who are supposed. Okay, but let's leave something to creativity and imagination. It's not that important. So it would be nice if we could go to another concept of network where every person, every organization, including the startuppers themselves, they can be at the same time fruitors, beneficiaries of services, and also at the same time give some kind of service out to their peers or to other people in need. That concept of network on the right-hand side is the one that we would like to develop in our project, starting from the urban dimension. This is why I have started from clustering the projects and the presentations today also according to the territorial, the prevalent territorial dimensions. Because we are studying quite a lot the city as political arena, source of problems, but also source of ideas to tackle those problems, and also a pot of resources, financial and human and infrastructural resources, and a possible marketplace. How many initiatives today, for example, from Andalusia, but not limited to them, they are looking at the local market as a way to deliver the products that they aim to develop. So the city can contribute in many respects, and this is what we are studying, and we are not alone, because, for example, this is a recent policy paper from the European Commission called the Blueprint, because it has the idea behind that there are some cities which are more advanced than others, and maybe the majority of European cities can and should take the inspiration from what is happening far away, but not that far that the message cannot be taken up and replicated. And this is something that is also behind the H2020 call that we were successful in winning, where the concept of user-driven innovation is mentioned in relation with design and design thinking. That's why I've been bothering many of you with my questions regarding the importance of design and co-design and a multidisciplinary approach to turn, for example, the ideas that were born in Rosignano Marittimo into projects. And also many of you have said, including our colleague from Antwerp, that a very important part of the advisory role that you are playing is to turn those ideas into successful business, also thanks to the contribution of design and design thinking, which is the main topic of our call. So we are somehow acting at the crossroad between design and innovation with this project. Design-enabled innovation was actually the title of the call, and we have added the urban dimension. And it is this urban dimension that we would like to explore and also provoke by means of a dedicated call for proposals with a budget of 1.5 million euros, which we will launch next year, looking for initiatives that can put these things together. And many of the initiatives that I have seen yesterday and today, they are, I think, relevant for the purposes of this call. So we add the urban dimension, or if you prefer, we stay at the crossroad between these three and invite other people and organizations from all over Europe to help us collect a database of initiatives that comply with this logic. We are not looking only at the big cities. As you can see from this picture, maybe not readable enough, what it says comes from the United Nations. What it says is that in the recent and in the future trends of urbanization, the very big cities, those with 10 million inhabitants and more, they are only contributing to 10%, 15% of the overall growth. Most of the increases in the urban population around the world, they are located in the smaller cities, those of the size of maybe Rosignano or other cities represented today below 500,000 inhabitants. And this is, as you can see from the histogram, the wide majority of the population residing there. And it is something we take as a positive sign that most of the dynamics that we have been listening to based on trust, networking, reciprocal recognition, collaboration, voluntary work. How many of us, especially from Florence, said, if we had to wait for the next funding train to arrive, no, we wouldn't be here now today. So a lot of voluntary work. All these dynamics are better located in the smaller rather than the bigger cities of Europe. So we are studying the interplay between design and innovation, which is for us a matter that is relevant not only for the creative brains of designers, either individual designers or group designers, including the population, the crowd, as it is said, but it is also about the use of technologies and the meanings that are given to these technologies, and we are trying to evaluate the interactions between the urban dimension and the design and innovation interplay, both in terms of contributions, direct contributions, like I said, all the dimensions that you can find in the city, how they contribute to the adoption of design thinking and design in general within innovation processes, but also the feedback in terms of value creation that is qualified by the urban aspects. We are also thinking in terms of scalability and replication, and this is the final concept that I wanted to share with you because it is very important for me and for our project. How many of the presentations that we have been looking at this morning already reflect existing experiences in other locations? How many of them are replicable? And how many of them are replicable under which conditions? For us, an important contribution of design is to make sure that this replication actually takes place. So we are thinking on the left-hand side to attract initiatives that put together design, innovation, and the urban dimension, cluster them, make them more visible at European level by communicating the way they are doing, very much like in this workshop today, and connect them to create opportunities for broader take-up, for some of them to become European good practices, not just local or regional good practices. And like I said, this is my last slide. We have this nice opportunity represented by a call for project proposals that will be out in 6 months from now. During 2018, we will be launching it. It will have a budget of 1.5 million euros, and we are aiming to identify at least 50 initiatives around Europe that are putting together these 3 things: design, innovation, and the urban dimension. And I sincerely believe that most of you have all the credentials to candidate yourselves to this call when it is up. So stay tuned, and for any other question, I will be available during the break. Thank you.